So firstly, which production are you currently involved with?
I am doing Strawberry Fields by Kevin Brofsky, directed by Stephanie Charbonneau.
And what's your role in all this?
I play Vera, who is a TV personality in the play.
Can you tell me a little bit about the character?
She's going to meet someone for an interview, a very important interview for her career, I guess you could say, but also mainly for bringing about awareness to social justice issues that she feels personally attached or related to.
Do you think you relate to this character in real life in any way, or is this a bit of a jump or stretch for you?
In some ways, I relate to her. In some ways, we're very different, which is the case with a lot of characters. You always find little bits of yourself to be able to attach to make the character authentic, and then creating their story and what you gather from the text and discussions with your director. And I would say I relate to her definitely in the way that the social justice issues that are touched on in this play are personally important to me. And I think that it's important to bring awareness to them. So I'm glad that I get to be a part of this production.
Okay. What was your creative process through the whole thing? Or do you have a creative process through any character that you may play, the same creative process?
Definitely, yeah, because we're still in rehearsals for Strawberry Fields, so the process is not yet complete, but of course it always starts when you are researching to audition and then play the character, and hopefully that you try to shoot for. In this case, it was interesting because it was a general audition, and then we were cast in whichever show. So I was really grateful for the opportunity to just be selected for this piece and this character. So the process has been really a lot of reading and learning. Firstly is the main thing about the character before you start, I think, attaching any personal relation to it, because you have to have respect, I think, for the author and the character and the story that they're trying to tell. So reading through the script and trying to gather what her intentions were and where that story is being driven and what we want to share and tell the audience ultimately. And then yeah, starting to think about it in a more personal way to, like I say, bring about those really authentic emotions.
Okay. What is there anything in particular that you love about the character that you play? And is there anything you dislike about the character that you're playing?
I would definitely say I love her confidence. Something that I aspire to for sure, and I'm excited to be able to bring that to life through her. And I definitely have a little bit of resentment toward her because I think that she has some ulterior motive with what she's doing, and also some obviously good intentions, but a little bit of an ulterior motive with I don't want to give away too much of the story, but that's something that I find, like, I'm a little bit bitter about this character is that I think she's very confident, but she could actually be a little bit more like truly brave in different ways.
That brings me to a question that I'm fascinated with. Do you think it's difficult playing a character that you dislike, or there's certain aspects about it that you dislike? Is this a hard thing to do you think?
Personally, I don't find. I love playing characters that are really outside of my scope personally. And it can be tough because, you know, with acting, you're often typecast and based on you know, your personality or look sometimes. But that's one of the most like fun things that I find about acting, is being something that you're completely not, because in real life or reality you might never behave in a certain way that you're allowed to when you're on stage.
Right.
So yeah, it's more, that's why to me well, and they're called plays because you're playing and being a character. So that's one of the best parts. So definitely played some outrageous characters, and it's been a great challenge, I think.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Why act if you're just being yourself? It makes sense that it would be a bit more fun if you're not being yourself, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I've got to ask, because I've had people ask me this in the past. So now I'm going to ask you. You've got a fair bit of theater experience behind you, right?
I would say so. Community theater and high school, yeah.
Okay. So how do you memorize all those lines?
Oh gosh. You know what? I have a very specific method and style that I engage in, which like involves, once your lines are highlighted, it involves a paper towel or a Kleenex, some type of translucent material that you can place over the script.
Okay.
And then as you like lower it down and you read your cue line, which is the line before you're supposed to speak, you can see like the next portion of the text is highlighted. So you know that it's your turn to speak, but having that like Kleenex or paper towel there, you can't really see the text. You just know that it's your turn to speak. So if you don't know that line, you just start at the very, very beginning of the play. And if you don't know that line, you read it and then go back from the beginning. Read your cue line and then say that line that you just read, and then continue down and down and down. And it's honestly just a lot of repetition. So like I would say it just does take like a lot of work, and you have to put in that solo work before you can really thrive in the rehearsal setting, because it's lucky if you have, you know, a ton of rehearsal time to help naturally memorize the lines through rehearsing. But often we don't get that luxury. So we're just, you know, we got to use our time wisely when we're at rehearsal. And it's best if you can do that solo work that is just really doing the repetition from the very beginning. If you don't know that line, start back at the beginning and do it again.
It can be a tedious process, the repetition, but really it is, I mean, one of the most effective ways. Okay. Now I just have to ask.
Further to that, I would say that the sooner that you get that process out of the way, that's when the rehearsal process becomes fun. So the few times that I've directed in my life, I've always encouraged the actors to get off book as soon as possible, because that's when the chemistry and fun can really start playing and building. So the sooner you do the work, the sooner you're playing. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not as much fun when you're doing everything, looking at it, and it doesn't even come together. The jokes don't land, they don't seem funny, but when it all comes together and everybody's off book, it starts to feel a lot better. Um,
Exactly.
Speaking of chemistry, what do you think makes for a good scene partner? If you're performing with someone opposite of you, what do you hope this person's like?
That's a good question. Wow. I would say I would hope that they're generous. That's a really important quality, I think, in theater.
What do you mean by generous?
Well, it there's so much um, responsibility in theater as a team. Like it's very much like a team sport, and and oftentimes in theater, it's a lot of big personalities. People, theater kids are naturally outgoing sometimes. Um, and it's really important that everyone is working together for the collective. So that means like doing ensuring that you're not drawing attention or focus from the the story or the main scene or what's supposed to be happening or where our attention is supposed to be drawn. Um, and then I also say generous in the sense that they're really listening, because that's another struggle that can happen again with lines. Is if you're truly listening to your scene partner, you can almost just respond naturally and not necessarily with the line, as opposed to just being in your own head and thinking, what am I saying next? What do I look like? Are they looking at me? Or anything that is internal and thinking about yourself. So that's why I say generous, because it's for the collective. We're in it together. We're truly in a world together, and you're just as invested as I am. And then that's when the magic happens, in my opinion.
There's a lot more I want to ask you, but we're running out of time, so I'll save it for just a few more questions. How about something fun? Or to me, it's fun. What is the last thing you do before the curtains rise? And what is the first thing you do when the curtains fall?
Wow, such good questions, Brent. These are so heavy. But fun, yes. But okay, so before the curtain rises, deep breaths first of all. Often it's a musical, so if you're about to be singing, so right into the diaphragm, take that breath, and to help calm the nerves, because they really never go away no matter how prepared you are. But
Yeah.
I would have to say preparedness helps. I would have to say. So the more prepared you are, the less anxious that curtain rise feels, in my opinion. But always a deep breath and really engaging into that character. I'm always in my character before I go on stage. So behind the curtain, I've become that person, and now I'm entering the world, whatever world it is that we've created. So, and then when the curtain falls, depends on the night. If it's closing night, I'm probably shedding a tear. But otherwise, another deep breath, a sigh of relief for a journey, a fun journey and that's the beauty of theater. You could hope to say a job well done, but there was probably snags and strange things that happened, and that's the magic and beauty of it, is that it's live, and that energy, you can never get it back. You have to just be in the room.
It's something that you can only experience. It's indescribable, but it is truly a profound feeling. All right, my final question to you. What does SPG mean to you? What is SPG? Why do you volunteer with SPG?
So many reasons. I'm very grateful for the avenue of being able to do theater in Sudbury, and I've played some major dream roles that I would never have had the opportunity to if I moved to Toronto, in a large city. And I'm really, really grateful that they give opportunities to local artists to be able to express themselves and have joy and community, and it's just something I'm really grateful for. So I've volunteered in a few different capacities. My favorite is performing because obviously the energy. I've enjoyed directing too, though. That was a really rewarding experience, and I would do that again. And then like dinner theaters, even just volunteering to be able to see the show and participate is such a great opportunity as well. So I wish more people knew about SPG and come see the shows.
Fair enough. Well, that was certainly enlightening, a lot of fun. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Brent.
Thank you. You have a good night, okay?
You too.
Oh, by the way, you were fantastic in cabaret.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Have a good night.
You too.